UNLV students' projects of the Berkman's Initiative and the effectiveness of how it is helping communities.
A new way of predicting how to find Alzheimer's and the research behind it, and more.
And a Clark County School District teacher arrested for sex assault. All this and more on Studio G. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Studio G. I'm Shelly Salvito.
And I'm Nicole Reynolds.
A substitute teacher in the Clark County schools is facing multiple charges in connection with the sexual assault of a teenager. Clark County School District police identify her as 22-year-old Tanika Queen. She is accused of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy. Queen is facing half a dozen counts, including kidnapping and sex assault. CCSD police would not additionally comment any further on this case.
UNLV student Robin Gonzalez is selected to participate in Clinton Global Initiative University Conference. The political science student is representing his team's work called the Berkman's Initiative. His high school classmates saw a need to bring health education and medical attention to impoverished areas of the Philippines.
There's networking opportunities or meeting different people who inspire you, or just meeting friends who help you carry out your project, or like give you their feedback or opinion. I think it's what you get out of it, and what I've gotten out of it so far is that I've met amazing people who motivate me, and networking opportunities, and I get to represent UNLV there and represent my the hard work of my initiative there. So I think those things I found most important.
Their projects have included health seminars, hygiene packet distributions, medical treatment, and disbursement of nutritious food, and more than 200 women and children in the towns of Lunzaran, San Jose, Gusu, the Mercedes of Zamboanga City. Gonzalez and his former classmates plan to keep their work and fundraising going. Now on to national news with Kelby Weiler. Kelby?
Thanks, Nicole. This week's national news starts with a mystery. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 and its 239 passengers and crew are still missing after their unexplained disappearance last Saturday. Multinational searches for the Malay Peninsula for the lost Boeing 777 are being administered, and it is still unclear which way the plane was heading when it fell off radar. According to ABC News, some relatives are still hopeful, telling authorities that they were able to call the cell phones of their relatives and were not sent to voicemail, possible proof that they were still alive. Others have reported that the instant messenger accounts of their missing family members are still active on the Chinese online service QQ. Conspiracy theories such as terrorism, hijacking, and even pilot suicide does little to calm the nerves of the missing passengers' family members who are desperately awaiting news about their loved ones. Obama takes to the Labor Department today on issues concerning overtime pay for millions of workers. Currently, most hourly workers must be paid time and a half if they work more than 40 hours a week, but workers paid on salary do not need to receive overtime unless they earn less than $455 per week. The rules that Obama are proposing would increase that salary threshold and provide overtime pay for millions of workers classified as executive or professional employees. Opposing sides are warning that this plan could force businesses to reduce staff or cut pay. The president also stopped at a Gap store in Midtown Manhattan on Tuesday to report his push to raise minimum wages. His unannounced stop was used to spotlight the company's new policy of paying entry-level employees more than the minimum wage. The Department of Health and Human Services announced Tuesday that more than 4.2 million people have enrolled into private plans associated with Obamacare's health insurance exchange. Based on the congressional budget, office signups are below the original target of 5.6 million by the end of February and 7 million by the end of March. The president was recently on Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, supporting his Obamacare enrollment while trying to evolve his communications strategy. That's all I have for national news. Let's send it back to the desk with Shelley.
Thanks, Kelby. 500,000 lives are claimed by Alzheimer's every year, and there's never been a way to predict the onset of the disease until now. In a first-of-its-kind study, Research Chi have developed a way of predicting who is most at risk for developing Alzheimer's.
This is a really wonderful piece of science. It's the most significant observation that we've been able to report in my entire scientific career.
Alzheimer's is caused by plaques and tangles in the brain that destroy memory and concentration. And a simple blood test might be able to predict who could get it and help to develop a cure.
The test enables the identification of the high-risk people. You could then do the research to ask, do we now have a new therapy that could arise, that could delay symptom onset?
Researchers say that this test could also help people who have the disease make arrangements and plan for a future with Alzheimer's.
I would want to plan, I would want to work with my family to make sure that I attend to the issues that are important to us.
The test was over 90% accurate, but even if all goes well, it won't be used by doctors for a few years. Coming up after the break, a look on how a city's community is taking a stand when it comes to emergency phone calls.
Also, some important safety tips to remember before you go out on spring break. Stay with us.
UNLV has over. Joining a student organization can enhance and redefine the UNLV college experience. UNLV has over 200 registered student organizations on campus and in the Las Vegas community, encompassing a variety of interests, activities, and beliefs among the student body. To explore, access, and join a student organization, visit the Involvement Center website under my.unlv.edu. Be a rebel. Get involved.
The broadcast service for UNLV, and this is The Takeover, in case you didn't know.
I like to go to shows and find artists that are pretty cool and interesting and offer something different. I give them the opportunity to come here and be heard over radio waves. I'm glad to be bringing that awareness to the Vegas community and also giving locals the opportunity to come on and be on radio. I'm your host, Brandy the Prince Madison. This is The Takeover, and we play old school hip hop and R&B. Then we get a little bit ratchet towards the end.
In Rock County, Wisconsin, non-emergency calls were becoming a growing problem for their 911 dispatchers, so they took matters into their own hands. With the help of volunteers and local musician Jamie Campbell, they were able to create a music video that emphasizes the non-emergency phone number.
That one person calling with that's having a heart attack, they can't get through because we might have a couple lines tied up with people wanting to call in a barking dog or a loud noise complaint.
With a catchy beat and a flashy video to go along with it, it's the hope of dispatchers that the public will remember to use the alternate number for non-emergencies.
Hopefully they memorize the number because it is an easy number to start out with, but also the hope is that they will program it in their cell phones.
I sing it at home and I drive my family crazy.
Not a bad idea. Las Vegas's own non-emergency numbers are 311 or 702-828-3111. Be sure to use these numbers when an immediate police response isn't required.
Take a step back into history and reliving some old memory at Nostalgia Street Rods. Reporter Alvin Lloyd tells us more.
I like to hear the history, you know. I sometimes like to follow my dad around too and get a tour.
Sherry Goldstrom is referring to Nostalgia Street Rods, the collection of cars and memorabilia that her family owns and is showing to the public.
My mom and dad are probably one of the biggest collectors in this town, and we call this place the best kept secret in Vegas. My mom's been collecting way on. She collects everything from guitars, memorabilia, antiques, records, you name it. My dad collects cars and just different kinds of memorabilia.
All the items around here give one a sense of nostalgia.
There's a lot of really interesting pieces, and there's a lot of history really actually coming out of my mom's collection. Everything you see here on our place has authenticity, and it's all, just something that my mom thought was the greatest thing to collect. That's what I love about it so much.
The car collection that the Goldstrom own are rebuilt and maintained by Ed Daniels, who really enjoy his job.
I like cars and I like speed. Well, you get to see what you've labor of your hands, and then you get to drive it. And it's built safe enough that I felt comfortable in it.
They have received positive reactions from visitors.
They're really impressed. A lot of them said that they've never seen a collection like this before.
When everybody comes here, the pleasure for us is that they walk away from here just mind blown.
They see a bright future for the collections.
It's getting bigger and better, which we love. I love to share the things that they collected with people. That's my greatest gift, is to share these things with people and to let them know. And I like to see it when they enjoy themselves.
For Studio G, I'm Alvin Loy.
UNLV's spring break is just hours away. Before you go, we have some helpful tips to make sure your week off is enjoyable and safe. For students who are escaping to the ocean to enjoy the sun and sand, it's key to stay safe by avoiding injuries and ailments such as sunburn and dehydration. Water and sunscreen are key essentials for beachgoers. And for those groups who may be drinking, experts say to not let your guard down completely and make sure to have a buddy with you at all times.
Be aware of your surroundings. If there are bad guys out there, they're looking for drunk students on spring break. Go out with your friends and return with your friends. Always have a designated driver, and if you are going to drink, be sure that you keep it under control.
Students are advised to plan their trips out in advance so they're the most prepared for their vacation. If you're traveling abroad, make sure to get those vaccinations well in advance. Make sure to pack the proper medicine and supplements to keep you healthy while away. And for those who are staying in a hotel, don't book the room on the first floor. Break-ins are most likely on street level. These are just some of the helpful tips you can take to have a memorable and unforgettable spring break. For more spring break tips, you can visit the Center of Disease Control and Prevention's website at cdc.gov/family/spring break.
Coming up after the break.
Can we get to the prompter? What the heck? She doesn't have a hard copy. We're gonna go to break. Take break.
We'll be right back after this break.
Participation in Greek fraternity and sorority life at UNLV can provide an experience like no other, with benefits including supportive friends, leadership and career opportunities, and community service.
Greek life at UNLV is really great because it's a good way to network and meet new people from all over the place.
We got academics and we're all about that culture. So we encompass everything all around, and we're out here and we're trying to better ourselves to try to make it better, and let's just make it all better all together.
Collegiate DECA promotes personal and professional development through competitive events, community involvement, and leadership development.
I joined DECA because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So I got to meet people, network, and definitely work on my public speaking.
To join DECA, it's a very simple process. You have to pay a $25 membership fee. You can either come to our next meeting, our website, which is unlvdeca.co.vu.
We're open to all majors who are interested in business, finance, or hospitality-related fields.
Hi, I'm Kyle King with Studio G's Mountain West Conference Update. The time is here. March Madness began yesterday with the opening of the Mountain West Tournament. We're hyped for the men's opening games at the Mountain West Conference, which started yesterday with Colorado State and Utah State, who were tied at the first half with 31 points. Colorado State had full control of the game and continued to make shot after shot. However, foul trouble in the final seconds of the second half cost them possession, leaving them close but with no chance of recovery, devastating Colorado State players with a final score of 73-69. San Jose State versus Boise State was a disappointing game for the San Jose fans. Boise State dominated the entire game and showed no mercy to San Jose State. Boise continued to go on scoring sprees, not giving San Jose State a chance to breathe. Boise State dominated the first half and didn't have no problem taking the game and advancing in the bracket. Wow, Utah State brought that game back and clutched it in the end. Boise State showed hunger in their game versus San Jose State, and they didn't leave starving. Now here's Donald Woods, who is live at the Thomas and Mack Center with the schedule update on today's games.
Thanks, Kyle. Yesterday was passed, today is present, and now we have the schedule today for men's basketball. So happening right now is San Diego State versus Utah State. And then at 2:30 today, our very own UNLV Rebels will going against Wyoming. Then at 6 o'clock, New Mexico will face off against Fresno State. And then we'll finish tonight at 8:30 versus Nevada Reno going against Boise State. And that will determine the quarterfinals tomorrow for the men's. The women will also be facing off in their quarterfinals tomorrow, and that schedule has already been made as they played earlier this week. So tomorrow for women's at 12 they will go against Colorado versus Wyoming, and then at 2:30 it'll be Fresno versus Nevada, and then that'll determine who's going to play in the Mountain West Women's Championship on Saturday. So today is mainly about the men's, finding out who's going to face off tomorrow for the quarterfinals, and then later on go into the finals on Saturday. You can be able to catch all of the live action on CBS Sports Network, and we're going to follow up tomorrow on Studio G Magazine with who's going to be playing. This is Donald Woods reporting for Studio G.
Thank you, Donald Woods. And I believe that UNLV, we will do pretty well against Wyoming today. And I just believe that Coach Rice is doing an excellent job coaching this young team. They do have a lot of potential. Statistic-wise, Wyoming, they are a great team as well. They are 18-13. UNLV, they are 19-12. But I think UNLV could pull out the win today.
So you think we're going to win tonight?
Definitely.
Okay. Thanks, Kyle. It's been pretty cool and breezy lately. Fabiola, I thought we were over with winter break already.
Well, we are over, but we're having a bit of cloud cover. However, the sun will come back up and it will be shiny, and we hope those Lady Rebels keep beating those Nevada State and keep winning. But we'll be talking more about the weather when we come back right after this break. Stay tuned.
I want this place to be a place that they feel safe, secure, a place where they get inspired. So many times we kind of get complacent in our everyday life, transforming lives in the community from the inside out. I've been in fitness my whole life, but now tying that in now in my spiritual walk, it's been just amazing. Some people may want to run a marathon. Some may want to just get off their asthma inhaler. Exercising and moving our bodies, I think it's, you know, we say if you don't use it, you lose it.
Winter came in full force for the East, but here in Las Vegas, we had a record-breaking winter. Christina Davies has the details.
Las Vegas broke its own record for warmest winter. The average this season was 52.3 degrees, as opposed to the record in the 1980-81 winter, which was only 52 degrees.
The reason we had our warmest winter ever on record in Vegas was because we had an area high pressure in the atmosphere that was persistent, centered off California, and basically that blocked most of the storms from coming in from the Pacific that we typically get during the winter.
This increase in temperature allowed us more time to have fun in the sun, but it might have come with one drawback: a warmer than usual summer.
Outlook right now for summer is favoring at or above normal temperatures. That's what the odds are.
Las Vegans are used to this heat, but should be advised that temperatures will increase throughout spring. According to the National Weather Service, heat is the #1 concern during summer, and some Las Vegans are taking precautions when it comes to their children and their furry companions.
As a dog owner, I make sure I have water with me all the time.
When we come in Las Vegas, of course, it's a lot hotter, so you always want to bring lots of water when you come to the park. Try to stay in the shade, but at a lot of these parks nowadays, they have the covers. The parks without the covers, you just have to make sure you keep them well hydrated.
The small jump in numbers might not come across as important, but it has the potential to impact our land as well. A warmer summer can bring a higher risk for red flag warnings in our area. For Studio G, I'm Christina Davies.
While the outlook does seem to be favoring normal to above average temperatures, it is only a prediction, so we won't actually know until summer arrives. However, when dealing with extremely warm temperatures, hydration is important.
That's right. And the weather seems like we're having some cloud cover, like I mentioned earlier, but we're standing at 64. Our low is 50. We're having really nice sunny day. We're having California weather. That's what I like to call it. Tonopah standing at 29, Mercury at 41, Nellis at 43. It seems like we're enjoying the sun. However, California here is struggling. We're having a bit of just rainy days on Santa Barbara, standing at 63. Flagstaff, though, it's at 52. Gallup is at 59. Now, looking to our world map, we're seeing some of disturbance here. A cold front, that's what I like to call it, from the west pushing in towards the east right here, and we're having rainy days in Augusta, Detroit as well, standing at 45. Now Houston is standing at 68, but Miami is enjoying that sunny day. And so if you're expecting to do some traveling during winter break, definitely I would stay in Las Vegas, and this is why, because we're having some nice sunny days throughout the whole entire week. So as you see, we're really having nice weather. So my advice to you is stay in town and be safe. After this, we'll be right back for more Studio G.
Only place where you're going to hear these stories, the stories that count, that Combox Radio refuses to cover. My show is The King Louie Show, so, no one really wants to hear about the last bombing that happened in Baghdad. So we do the stories that matter, like K-Rev having a seizure at mid-court, or fast-paced show with lots of fast-paced music, especially punk rock, and stories that hit hard. King Louie here, host of The King Louie Show on the Rebel HD2, and I am here every Friday noon to 2.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Hello, Studio G audience. I am Troy Fosgate. I'm joined here live with former Channel 8 anchor Gary Waddell. Mr. Waddell, how you doing, sir?
Troy, I appreciate it.
Fantastic. I understand that you've been a bike enthusiast for over 25 years.
I have. I've been riding bikes since 90 or so, and pretty regularly. Before I rode occasionally, but since then. And we've been talking about safety for spring break, and it's really something you have to watch out for, not just during spring break, but all the time.
What are tips for Las Vegas motorcycle riders during spring break? I understand it's people having fun, the vacations and all that. What's your take on that?
Well, the number one thing when you ride a motorcycle or drive a car or wherever you're out is situational awareness. Know what's going on around you. Don't let things sneak up on you, because that's where the problem is. As I was riding over here today for this, a guy just stopped in front of me, and had I not been paying close attention, I might have run into the back of him. So you have to be really careful. Kind of know where you are, know what's around you. They were talking about being safe. Otherwise, when you're out, getting hotel rooms on the upper floors and things like that, just look at your situation all the time, no matter whether you're driving a motorcycle or a car.
As a motorcycle rider yourself, what's life like behind the two wheels, just riding around?
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's a whole different situation. You're out in the elements. You get all the smells. You find you hear the, I don't know whether you're into wine, but if you hear about microclimates where they grow the best grapes in this one little acre because they have a microclimate that's perfect. Well, you get that a lot when you're out. It'll be warm, then it'll cool off, and you just feel and experience all these things that you don't in a car with the windows rolled up and the air conditioner on.
Fantastic. As a former news anchor, I understood that you covered several motorcycle accidents throughout the years.
Yeah, we've covered a number of them, and it's unfortunate. I mean, this year has been, it seemed to be an awful year for us. I work at a local BMW motorcycle shop just part-time, and one of our customers was killed this year in a motorcycle accident. So you really have to be careful. Not only do the motorcyclists have to pay attention, you've got to know what's happening. You don't want to take chances. You don't want to, I mean, you see the guys going down the freeway on the back wheel a lot. I mean, it's just not a smart thing to do. You really have to be careful of that. And cars have to watch for motorcyclists. We have to take a test and a driving test in order to get a motorcycle license. I think all car drivers should have to take that same motorcycle test, so they sort of know what we're up against and what we deal with.
To emphasize more on the motorcycles driver's test, what's like exactly the difference between taking that and taking a normal driving test?
Well, the one thing, the main problem you have in a motorcycle is it only has 2 wheels, so it'll fall over on you. I mean, and there's no fender benders like there are in cars. I mean, if you get hit, you go down and you wind up on the pavement. So you got to be careful about that. So one of the things they do is run you through the cones to find out if you can go through without falling over. You have to remember you can't just slam on the brakes and not think about it anymore. You have to grab the brakes and know where you're going and where you're headed. So you really have to pay much more attention to your driving when you're on 2 wheels.
Mm-hmm. And fun fact, in your opinion, what's more fun, sports bikes or cruisers?
Well, I ride a sport touring bike. That's my favorite. We do a lot of long distance stuff. I mean, I'll go to New Mexico or California coast. I've been to Alaska and Canada on the motorcycle, and all over the western United States. So that to me is fun. It's great to just go places and do things. I ride to and from work, but I don't do a lot of just around town riding unless I'm headed somewhere in particular. But
what's the best advice that you would give to anyone that looks to like ride a motorcycle for the first time, or just as a general thing?
Take a course and then practice. Ride with somebody who knows how to ride, that you respect. Ride with them, learn from them. I did that with a friend of mine that's been riding since he was 16 years old or 14 years old, and he's now about 60. And I learned so much just riding with him, watching him, learn how he corners, learn where he goes, take courses, and continue to take.
I'm sorry, Mr. Waddell, I have to cut you short for today. I appreciate your time.
I understand that.
Very welcome. Stay tuned for more Studio G. We'll be right back.
Joining a student organization can enhance and redefine the UNLV college experience. UNLV has over 200 registered student organizations on campus and in the Las Vegas community, encompassing a variety of interests, activities, and beliefs among the student body. To explore, access, and join a student organization, visit the Involvement Center website under my.unlv.edu. Be a rebel. Get involved.
Spring break is just around the corner. Reporter Ron Paul Gavino is on campus asking about your plans. Ron?
Thanks, ladies. I'm right here outside of the SU. Let's go see what some students are doing for their spring break.
Making baskets like these.
For what?
For our philanthropy, Sigma Sail-Off, March 27th. Be there.
Work, sleep, and do a lot of community service.
I'm actually staying in town. I'll be working, yeah.
Oh, just work?
Yeah, well, work is in the club for me, so it's not too bad.
Oh, so you work in a party?
Yeah. Oh no, I have to go party.
I'm going to go to the beach, and I'm going to eat California burritos.
I think I'm going to go on a road trip, maybe go up to Reno. I heard they have a big foam party up there or something. That sounds fun.
I'm going to turn up.
I am going on a road trip down to Niagara Falls to check out the monuments, and I'm going to Mount Rushmore, check out everything, get a little history knowledge inside. Turn up, we'll see. Most likely yes, most likely no. We'll see.
Well, I don't know. Hang out with my family. That's it.
Liar. Stop, guys.
I'm going to New York for sommelier certifications.
I'm gonna party!
He's gonna party.
I have to work. Well, I'm going to every New York single too, so day. that's kind of part of it.
I'm gonna party!
Yeah, where are you gonna party at?
All clubs in Las Vegas.
There we go. What's your favorite dance move?
Just like,
Okay.
like this.
What the hell?
Like,
What are you doing, man?
I don't know what I'm doing, man.
For medicinal reasons, I have a medical card, and for injuries playing sports, so I'm gonna just enjoy myself, have all my homework done, get some good medical cannabis in my system.
Going to Cali, getting buck wild in the club.
Thanks, Ron Paul.
Well, that does it for this Thursday show of Studio G. I'm Shelly Salbito.
And I'm Nicole Reynolds.
If you're looking to catch up on previous episodes or to share your ideas, visit our website at studiog.unlv.tv.
Have a great day, Las Vegas.